Hi, my name is Judy and I'm the City Stitcher, and welcome to my Flosstube channel. This is a channel about cross stitch and the cross stitching that I've done this week. If you are returning, thank you for stopping by and coming back. If you are new to this channel, thank you for stopping by and giving me a few minutes of your time, and I hope that you see what you like. It is Sunday, July the 26th, so it is the last Sunday of July 2020, and so the topic for this week is, unsurprisingly, let's talk Jolly July Part 4. So this is the last Sunday in July. Doesn't mean we won't talk a little bit more about Jolly July next week, because of course that will be the wrap up. I will have finished all of the days of July. So let's just get into it. I'm going to start off with something that is atypical for me, but I saw this on Facebook and I just wanted to draw attention to it because it made me feel better about my project too. Because we all know I've been working on the Marbeck Nativity for, it feels like, forever, and there's a long way yet to go on that project, so it's still going to be many weeks before, you know, I'm done with that thing. But I took comfort in the fact when I came across this post. So this is from a gentleman stitcher whose name is Brother Martin. And he has cross-stitched this gigantic, the periodic table of elements. So there he is holding it. So fantastic accomplished, Brother Martin. Really impressed with your stamina. It took him 20 years to complete this, and they do have a video of him putting in the last 5 stitches to complete it. So huge undertaking, a lot of stamina, and I've lost my words, you know, stick-to-itiveness to complete this work. So I was like, if Brother Martin can stitch for 20 years to complete his work, I can do it on Marbeck. I can get this done. I'm really hoping it won't take 20 years, because the person that I'm planning on giving it to probably won't still be around in 20 years from now. You never know. Could be. That would all be great. But hopefully it will take something less than 20 years, not just for me, but for all of you as well. So congratulations, Brother Martin, on completing your periodic table of the elements. That's impressive. So let's do what I've stitched this week. So, big surprise. The Marbeck Nativity. Here it is again. Still working on it. We're still working on the bottom half. But there has been progress made, which makes me feel better about things. So, where did we get to this week? So first off, actually, there we go. You will all be happy to know that all of the Krynic on this bottom half of the center panel related to the center part of the star and the beams is now complete. Yay! That was, I have to tell you, that was a really good feeling when that happened, because I was like, I've done it. I've done the center star. It's finished. Now, that's not to say that there isn't more Krynic coming. There's more Krynic coming. I have the wise men. We've got the beams still coming down from the angels. I'm not done with the Krynic. Let's not get excited, but let's take the accomplishments when they occur. And I thought I would show you. Here is one of the spools. You can actually see, like, I'm almost through an entire spool of Krynic. Now, I'm fully expecting by the time the center panel is done that all of this will certainly be used up for sure. Now, I also don't know how many yards or meters there are in a spool of Krynic, but I'm going like, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. Anyway, and multiple colors. So, that was very exciting. And I have to tell you, as I was finishing those up, I was having a moment where I said, you're really getting tired of this project. This has been a long time. I think there's I think you're stitching slower, not just because of the cry neck, but you're tired of doing this, and etc., etc. And so I had said to myself, when you finish the cry neck, so that was part 1, you had to finish the cry neck on the star. 2, I said I was doing Jolly July, so I have to finish all the days in July working on Christmas related things. And I really do need it to be Marbeck because I need to get Marbeck done. But once you accomplish those 2 things, I had said to myself, you are going to take an entire week off. That first calendar week of August, August 1 through August 7, you're going to stitch on everything but Marbeck, period. As soon as you hit August 1, you're taking a week off. You're going to stitch on anything but. So I finished the star and I finished all that cry neck. And then I went, as you could tell, I'm going to go work on the posts, these pillars. So just because in my math, I go, once the star is complete and these columns are complete, then I'm going, we will have made it from 25% of the bottom half complete to about 30 to 33% of the bottom complete. Hey, progress is progress. So that's what you'll see here. So I've outlined, you know, you can't see the entire thing because of course it wraps around. So I have done all of the columns, the outlining of these columns. And because I discovered when I was doing the star that fill-in aspect is really quite nice. I'm working, there's 3 colors that go in between the outline. So one of which is white, which you can barely see. So I finished the white in the bottom part of the columns, and so then I will scroll back up to the top, do the white up there. Then there's another color that I'm going to do that, finish that. And then when I'm done that, we're back to every space that is left between these 2 columns will then become fill-in. It's the 3rd color. And so again, I will be back to my glorious state where I don't have to think and I don't have to count, which apparently I enjoy that. I just look at those spots that are blank and go, all of you are color number 3, and go for it. So I do believe that by the end of July, all of the columns will be complete. So there you go. There's Marbeck. So, as I've said before, normally over the course of a week, I was giving myself a day off to work on a Christmas project that was not Marbeck, to try to help with my, you know, I'm only doing Marbeck and I'm getting bored. With the way that last week worked out, I didn't work on any other Christmas related things. I actually had a whole evening off that I got caught up in doing a couple of other things and didn't get any stitching in, and so I said that was my other day. So that is all of the stitching that I've accomplished this week. Isn't that lovely? But it doesn't mean that I don't have things to show. So, previous finish. This is from the, let me get, 2004 Just Cross Stitch Christmas Ornaments special issue. So there's the cover photo if anybody's trying to go back and see what that looks like. It is this design down here, which if I were paying attention I would have noted it. It's called the Peace Tree. And this is by M Designs. So where's my piece? And as usual, you should all be expecting this by now. I have finished all of the stitching on this thing. It is not a fully finished object. That's because, you know, that's how I do things. So here is my Peace Tree. I think it's lovely. And that's my usual pause, so I can get a screen capture for that. Okay, so what have I done this? Now, it does look a lot darker than it is in real life. So I have done this on some opalescent linen. It'll either be 28 or 32, period, because that's what I would have done it on. And in case you are wondering why it's called the peace tree, it's because the word peace and the mirror image of it is what the sides of the tree say. I love this. Now, I also did this. You need to understand that this is done over 1 to get it to be this size. Let me see if I can't easily find out what the size of this thing is. The stitch count is 112 high by 76 wide. So the sample was done on a 30 count coconut macaroon legacy linen, which I don't know if that's even being made anymore. Again, we all know that pictures never do these things justice, so it's hard for me to tell that that's anything but white. And you know that I generally like white more than I like anything that has any hint of beigey, browny, anything. So it should not be surprising to anybody that I've done this on a white opalescent. But yes, so there's Mill Hill beads in this. There's the star at the top is a Mill Hill treasure. I will put that in the notes below. So Mill Hill beads, Mill Hill treasure. So again, this is a shocking thing for me. For this one, I did almost all of it using the called for. So didn't use the called for fabric, which is not atypical for me. But everything else on this, I did as charted. And the thread that was used for this is Silken Colors from the Thread Gatherer called In the Burgundy, and it is color number 074. So that's what the color looks like. That's how it stitches up. Again, it's hard to see, but there is a little bit of color variegation in this. It's really hard to see in the camera. In real life, you can't see it, but it is very subtle. It's not like you've got these big swings in the depth of the red, but it is there. So that's my peace tree. I love it. And for Kathleen, who thinks I really do need to hurry up and finish up my doodles, we'll talk about that the next time I see you and what you think I should be finishing it. And you'll have to give me all your suggestions, Kathleen. And yes, it probably means she's going to turn around and say, I need to hurry up and finish this. And I really do need to finish this up as a something. So for those of you watching, hey, give me your suggestions on how you think I should finish both this and the doodles from last week. Let's see if I've got a shot at trying to finish something that is Christmas related before Christmas. That would be a Christmas miracle, wouldn't it? All right. Okay, so that's my previous finish. So not to lead you down the path of dismay, I didn't do a really good job of this because they're all in the thingies. But once I did that one and I really liked it, don't get me wrong, didn't love the over one stitching, still don't love the over one stitching, can do the over one stitching and love the final product. So went down the M designs, and so she went and she did a ton of things, ton of these trees. So the biggest one is this one called Christmas Tree, and it has a lot of beads on it. but she's got them in, you know, all sorts of words. And she did them in all different colors. So this is the Rejoice tree. Believe, which looks really fantastic. Let's see what the thread for this is. Thread Gatherer Silken Colors 180 Belvedere Garden Silk, which looks lovely. I don't know that I have that in my collection. I might need to go get that. Cherish, Virtue. Yeah, I went to town. As she put them out, I got them. Dream. Grace. Faith. Wish. Hope. So again, and each of these, they show that you can do them over 1 to generate an ornament. There's nothing to say that you can't do it over 2 on any count that makes your heart happy. It just changes the size of the ornament and joy. So, fair warning on these. I don't know that these are readily available at your local needlework shop, but as I like to encourage everyone, try your LNS first. They may have it in stock. I don't know how easily it is to order it in. I don't know how much she's doing anymore. I did enough research to know that she does have an Etsy shop. So you can go onto the Etsy shop, and I think you can order it either as a PDF or as a paper copy from Etsy. I don't know that she has all of them on there, but she does also offer a service that you can take somebody's name. So technically I could reach out to her and pay for her to chart my name, Judy, as a tree. Now, I think I have enough trees. I don't need my name. But I do want to do these all in a big long row on I think it's a 32 count opalescent white. I've already got the fabric. I've already picked out, but I'm going to do all of my trees in an over-dyed green thread by Threadworks. Didn't haul that out, but I've got a ton of it, hopefully enough to do. I will start in the center and work my way out on each side, and if I run out of thread and I can't get the same dye lot, then the trees will end wherever the thread ends. You know, but I've mapped them all out and how they can go and how they can fit and all that kind of stuff. So one of these days, as I've said, I've got some stash. One of these days I will haul that out. But I have all the charts, and I have the fabric, and I have the thread. Now I just need to stitch faster and get this on the to-do list. So those are my M Designs trees. Again, don't necessarily love the over 1 stitching to get them into this size, but I love how it looks. And again, if I can do it, even if I don't love necessarily, you know, people always ask, are you a process stitcher or a product stitcher? And I would say generally I'm a process stitcher. I just do it for the stitching because I'm not concerned. I'm not one of those people like, I've got to finish 20 projects this year, and if I finish 20 projects this year, I've got to make sure I finish more projects next year. And so that's a product stitcher where it's like it's all about getting the finishes done. So generally that's not me. I'm more about the process, and I will endure a process I don't necessarily love if I love the end product. So I don't know what that makes me. A partial process, partial product stitcher? Who knows? Doesn't matter. It's my hobby. I do what I want. So there we go. Those are my M Designs trees and my plans for them and what I've got going in the stash. Let's talk stash. I did some shopping this week. Oh, let's go back to last week. So, just so you know, the Doodles from last week. So I did do a little bit better. It's always great. I do the research after the videos. Never mind that. Did a little bit better searching round 2. Again, these are not easy to come by. There's not a plethora of them. But I know for sure that the Stitchery Nook in, I think it's Iowa, has some. They do have some on their site. I will put a link to their website below. You can order online. If you don't like ordering online, just feel free to call them. They're very lovely. So you can do those. I will put a link to those below. So if you're looking for a project that is really small, a very low cost investment, you still have to come up with your own fabric for whatever it is. These are fantastic. So I will put that link to the Stitchery Nook in the show notes below. You can go and you can have a look at their site and order a doodle or 2 if you want. Okay, that was the research from this week. The shopping from this week. Okay, we talked about this fabric before. So this is a 32 count Lugana called Gray Basalt. Gray with white splotches, which according to me, you know, Christmassy. Or not necessarily Christmassy, wintry, because you could make these snow things. Some of you are uber creative and you can come up with 400 other things that you can use this for. But it's gray, not brown, which is why I like it. Anyway, so there's that one. Turns out that same splash pattern also comes in a very pale greeny blue, more towards the aqua. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily mint. Like I would say the chair here is mint. So I would say it's a little more blue aqua-y. I'm now thinking about Hands Across the Sea. Their charts, sort of that background color. A light Tiffany blue is kind of what this is. So I bought this because somebody had it in stock locally and I went, fantastic, I'm taking you. Because in these days, if I know somebody's got it and I want it, even though this is supposed to be a really responsible shopping for stash year, which I was generally pretty good at, even through the beginning part of COVID, about halfway through COVID is when I was doing not so good. Because then I'm like, oh my goodness, supply chain issues, stuff is going, who knows what's producing, and people are having problems all over the place getting base stock to do all sorts of things. If I find stuff, you know, I'm getting it. Particularly when it comes to fabrics and things like that. So 32 count Lugana in, I think it's called Mint Splash. If it isn't that, I will correct it in the show notes below, but I think it's called Mint Splash. And then also, because as you've discovered, I do enjoy my even weaves as opposed to linens. Not that I can't, again, stitching on 36 count linen for Marbeck. It's not that I can't. I just enjoy stitching on an even weave better, whether it's Lugana or Jobelin. And so here's another 32 count Lugana called Azure. Very towards the teal end of blue. Again, do I know what I'm stitching on this? Of course not. That has nothing to do with it. It's blue. It's pretty. It's 32 count Lugana. It was coming home because I liked it. So those are my stash acquisitions for this week. So pretty reasonable. pretty not horrendous, but you know, not fantastic because I still am adding to stash, but I'm okay with that during this time of supply chain issues. Yeah, I get it. Somebody out there is going like, honey, if you just wait through, because we will eventually end up on the other side of the COVID situation and the supply chains will get back to normal and everything will be better. I could order it then. And I get that. But, you know, that's, you know, out there in time. It's available now. I'm getting it now. All right. So a quick little chat, you know, because I'm doing these, you know, hey, what's a free chart out there? And I came to this one through a weird, I honestly don't remember how I ended up on this one, and I'm going to hold it really back. I know it's complimentary and some people are okay when I show the pattern. I always feel weird when I show the pattern anyway, because I also go, you don't always know that the pattern is going to be free for all time. So I'm going to hold it back. This is from Rosewood Manor, called Lemons. So some nice little flowers, you know, lemons. There's some yellow down here, which if I were doing it, I would probably change those out to something other than yellow. I'm totally fine with the lemons being yellow because that's appropriate. The yellow in the flower, I will probably change to something else when I do it. So this is called Lemons. If you go to the Rosewood Manor site, again, that link will be in the notes below. It's right on the front page, so you can go and get that. There's a color version of it, which is the one that I printed off to show you. There's also a black and white version of it, if that's more to your liking. Not everybody likes stitching the ones with the color, so there is a black and white one as well. They do have some other ones, and I will put the direct link to the freebie chart section of their website in the notes below as well. They're generally Christmas related, so Christmas trees, deers, all that kind of thing. But the way that I ended up stumbling onto this is, again, through something which led me to something which sent me directly onto the Rosewood Manor website for something which turned out I couldn't find it on there at all. I don't know what it is in any way, but it led me down the rabbit hole. Right now on the Rosewood Manor site, under their cross-stitch section, they've got some sale items. We'll put the link below as well. The only reason why I'm pointing this out, because you know my step one is always, if you can get it from your local needlework shop, please get it from your local needlework shop, because I like having them around, and I don't want to end up in a world where I only have Michaels, because that's not going to be good. But the thing to note on there is the majority of the charts that she has on her sale webpage, she's got this big note at the top that says these charts will not be reprinted, which means once she's out of them and once the distributors are out of them, she has absolutely no plans on reprinting these charts at all. So for me, when I find out information like that, that's the one where I go like, must go look, must see, must, you know, because if it's anything I want, time to get it now, because 3 months from now, everybody could be out of them. Rosewood Manor themselves could be out of them, the distributors could be out of them, and she's not reprinting. You're now into the secondary market, and everybody knows, who knows how that goes. Sometimes you can get them for a steal on a stash unload or a secondary market. We all know that there are certain out-of-print patterns where the prices are exorbitant and through the roof, and we really wish we had bought them, you know, when they were available readily. So I'm only putting this note out there to say, hey, go have a look, see if there's anything on there that you like, because the risk is those ones that she's got on her sale page are going to be out of print once she runs out of them. So that's my cautionary tale. That's why I ended up on Rosewood Manor. And of course, when you're on a site, you must go check out their freebies. That's how I get them. Like I say, hey, if you're looking for a freebie chart, my answer is always think of a designer that you really enjoy, find their site, look on their site, there's an amazing amount of free charts out there. So all you need to do is come up with the fabric and the floss. And you don't have to be exorbitant about your floss. You don't need to do them in silks. You don't need to do them in overdyed. Pick any color of DMC that you think will work on the chart and go to town. The important thing is that you're enjoying your hobby. So that's, I would say, almost all that I have for this week. Here's where we get into feedback from you lovely viewers. I will say, there's going to come a point in time where I'm not going to have previous finishes to show, because I'm not that prolific, which you can see how many weeks it's taken me to get through Marbeck. Hence, this is why I don't have, forever and a day of things to show. So my question for you that I'm looking for specific feedback from you guys is if you want me to do stash dives, because I can do, again, because I am a predominantly even weave stitcher, my stash collection of overdyed even weaves is quite good. And we all know there's a difference between how linens look and how even weaves look. So I can always go through, sort of what those are like. I do have some linens. You also know that I don't tend to go into the very brown neutrals. Brown, beige, all those colors that everybody else really enjoys. Flax, straw, picture this plus heroic, earthen, oaken, gingerbread, anything that is brown based is generally not a color that I have in my stash. I tend to be blues, grays, things that are more color, so if you want to see those, put your opinions in the comments below. I can also do stash dive through charts. So for example, oops, I just got the wrong, these M designs, again, I don't know that you can get, so I have a lot of potentially charts that are out of print. They're older collections. I have some of the new stuff as well. The question becomes are you interested in seeing, are you interested in seeing charts from my stash? 2, are you interested in seeing charts that are potentially out of print and hard to get? Or do you only want to see charts that are relatively easy to find? Again, opinions in the notes in the comments below would be very welcome, because that will help decide potentially some of the things that I may be doing for channel content on a go-forward basis. And now we are through. Nah, we're not through. I'm turning into somebody else I know at Flosstube who goes like, and we're, oh yeah, not done one more thing. This time, really one last thing. I know that I had said it 2 weeks ago, and of course last week I did none of it. And true to form, I'm doing it at the end. Denise Jeffries, I'm going to give you till the end of August, because I'm going to be really good in August about saying it on all 4 of those videos. Denise Jeffries, if you're interested in that Victorian Christmas chart, please email me at citystitcher52@gmail.com if you're interested. To Donna, I did see your note on the video several ago where you had commented that you too were interested. So Denise gets first pick. If I don't hear from Denise by the end of August, Donna, you've already sent me your email address and I have that. So Donna, you are my number 2, but I do want to give Denise first dibs at it. And given that I've been terrible about not saying it regularly, and that I acknowledge not everybody, has the time to watch everybody on Flosstube, so I can't guarantee that some of you are watching every single week. I know that some of you are, and I appreciate that. But we're going to give Denise all of August, and hopefully I'm going to be really good about remembering every video in August to say Denise Jeffries if you are interested. Denise Jeffries, if you are not interested, please also email me to say thank you for your offer to send me the chart, but I am not interested. That's totally fine too, because then I know that I can go ahead and send it to Donna. All right, with that, I'm now looking over at my table where I have all the collection. I go, this time I'm really through all the things that I want to talk about. So I hope everybody's had a good week. I hope that you have managed to get some stitching in. I hope that you are working on projects that are bringing you joy and some sanity through this interesting period that we're all living through. And I look forward to seeing you next week for the first Flosstube of August. So take care and be safe this week. Look forward to seeing you next week.